So the first part of this next section is dealing with exponents and logarithms. So we're going to go over first the properties of exponents. Exponents. So whenever we're talking about exponents, we're talking about a base b that we're raising to a power. So we'll say b to the p. B is called our base. P here is called our power or exponent. So what does b to the p actually mean? B to the p means multiply b by itself p times. So for example, 3 to the 4th would be 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. So that's what an exponent is. A couple properties that we can do. So we're only talking about bases greater than 0 for all these properties. There are 6 properties we're going to go through. The first one is b to the 0. Any base that we raise to the 0 power is going to be defined as 1. So this is true for any base. B to the 0 is always going to be 1. Second one, b to the x times b to the y. So this is that we have the same base, we have b to the x, and we're multiplying it by b to the y. So let's write out what this actually means. B to the x means multiply b by itself x times. We're also multiplying that by b to the y. That means multiply b by itself y times. How many times have I written down the letter b? Let's see, I wrote it down x times here, then I wrote it down y times there. So I've written it down x plus y times. So if you have the same base and you're multiplying and you have different exponents, or they could be the same, just add them together. So for example, 2 to the 5th times 2 to the 4th. This is the same base, so I just add my exponents to get 2 to the 9th. Third, b to the x divided by b to the y. So again, here I have the same base. What does this actually mean? This means multiply b by itself x times, then divide that by b times itself y times. So a lot of these b's are going to cancel. The question is how many of them? Well, y of them. So I'm going to take away y of them. This is b to the x minus y. Because all these are going to cancel on top, I canceled y of them, so I'm left with x minus y of them. So for example, 3 to the 9th divided by 3 to the 7th. Well, I would get rid of 7 of the 3's that were on top, so I'd be left with 3 squared. 9 minus 7 is 2, which is 9. So that's our third property. Fourth property is b to the minus x. So b to the minus x, this actually comes from property number 3 that we were doing. We can write this as 1 over b to the x. And again, this is because really up top I have a b to the 0, so it's really b to the 0 minus x, which is negative x. So if I wanted to write, how about x cubed on bottom? If I wanted to write that as an exponent, what would I do? I would move it to the top and negate the exponent. So we're going to do this a lot later on when we want to write everything to a power. So 1 over x to a power, just make it negative and write it up top. Property 5, b to the x to the y. Well, let's write out what this is. This is b to the x times b to the x y times. Right, because this is something to the y power, so that means multiply it by itself y times. Each of these b to the x's is b multiplied by itself x times. So let's write all these out. And then, remember, overall I have y of them. How many times have I written the letter b? Let's see, each time I had these little groups, I wrote down b x times, and I have y of the groups, so this would be b to the x times y. So for example, let's say 2 cubed to the 1/2. If I wanted to write this as just one exponent, I would multiply them. So this is 2 to the 3/2. And this is something you're going to want to be comfortable doing because later on we are going to work a lot with exponents. And then the last one is we're going to talk about fractions as exponents. What do they really mean? And there's kind of two parts to this. A number b to the 1 over n, that is the nth root. So this says take the nth root of b. More generally, so in general, if you have b to the p over q, the p tells you the power, q tells you the root. So this is the qth root of b to the p. Or you could think of this as being the qth root of b to the p. It doesn't matter the order in which you do it, it just matters that q is the root you're taking, p is the power that you're raising it to. So, for example, let's do 2 to the 3 halves. So what does this mean? The one on the bottom says I'm taking the second root, or the square root. The one on top tells you what power to raise it to. So this is going to be the square root of 2 cubed, which is square root of 8. So just remember, the bottom number tells you the root, the top number tells you the power. So those are the 6 properties of exponents.